Hey again, everybody. Next step for us to really understand an astrology chart is to start looking at what the content is of each house, meaning what things are associated with each of the houses. This is actually the same across basically all astrology. I'm going to say, I don't know if I would say all astrology, but definitely the two main ones, which we usually refer to it as Western, which really means tropical calculation. And it also means that most of the stories through which you understand the context of it comes from kind of a Greek and Roman mythology. So, with that, and also the Vedic system, which is based in an Indian perspective with their stories of their mythology, both of those use the same content in the houses. And just as a reminder, we are looking, the way I'm going to show it to you is through this North Indian chart that does look like this. Again, it doesn't matter whether you use this chart or a different kind of chart. The information that applies to each of the houses is essentially the same. Again, I'm going to pull to your attention the Kendra house, the houses, are 1, 4, 7, and 10. And those are the most important ones. Those right in the center, okay? And just as a reminder, we're going to look at the house numbers. We start right here in the middle top, 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to go counterclockwise all the way around the chart. And those are the house numbers. So we've already reviewed that. Each of those has a zodiac sign that is associated with it. These are the glyphs for that. And let's see. I think I'm going to try this one. Those are the planets that we also have reviewed. And they are specific to the signs. They're specifically related to the signs. That doesn't mean that you have those planets in each of those signs. It just means that's where it originally started. So there's some strength in the representation there. Okay, I'm going to turn those things off. And now we're going to take a look at what really goes into the content of each of these houses. So for that, what I did was I took some images and am going to talk to you a little bit about each of the houses. I'm not going to go at great depth. You could talk about each of the houses for a very long time. So I'm absolutely not going to do that right here, but I'm going to give you a gist for it, something that you can go very quickly to and start to associate in your head. Anything that's in the first house is going to represent these things and so forth. We'll go through the houses. Okay, that being said, we're going to start with, let's see. Hang on just a second. Please. Orange. Okay, we're going to use these house numbers. So they're just moved around for the image that I'm going to be pulling in. And we'll just start with the first house. So the first house always represents the self. If you think about the physical body, it's representing the head. It's all about me, 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 me. So it's the ego. So the first house is extremely important. It is what you're about. So whatever sign you have in the first house is going to very strongly affect your physical being. Second house revolves around values. It's your earned income. It is the way that you speak, that kind of thing. It is originally ruled by Taurus, and so that is also going to rule your throat. Okay, how you speak is affected by the second house. Your third house is largely communication. It also involves your hands, dexterity. If somebody has a job that has a high reliance on hands, like a chef or a surgeon or a mechanic or something like that, they're going to have indicators connected to that third house. And of course, that's not all that's involved in any of these houses. Third house is also siblings and neighbors. Fourth house is home. So the two biggest connections with the fourth house are mother and home. So for example, if in the fourth house on your chart you have Aries, it is going to be sure that there are some Aries qualities to your mother. It doesn't mean that she's going to have all the Aries qualities. It doesn't really tell you how it's going to play out because everybody's chart is different. But guaranteed, if you had Aries in the fourth house, you're going to have a mother that has Aries-like qualities. The fifth house is all about fun. It's about children. It's about early education. It's about having fun, speculation, games, playing, that kind of thing. And that one is ruled by Leo, just as a reminder. The sixth house is work. So anything related to work is going to be connected to the sixth house. It's also daily routines, small pets, enemies, specifically enemies that you're aware of. So that's all sixth house stuff. Again, it's also ruled by Virgo. That's why Virgo is associated with hard work. Seventh house is Libra. It is the content of the seventh house is obviously a really big deal. It has to do with others. So it doesn't mean that it is only your significant other. It also involves other people that you know. It could be business relations. It could be family. It could be just friends. It doesn't really matter what it is. As long as it's an other, then it is connected to the seventh house. The eighth house is the stuff that the best description I have heard is the eighth house is what we hide from ourselves. So that's going to involve taxes, death, in-laws, inheritances, sex, anything that's really taboo. Occult goes in there. So occult by definition is just anything that's hidden. Okay, so astrology is going to have a connection to the eighth house. Ninth house is ruled by Jupiter, and it is about higher education. It is about, the way they describe it is divine knowledge, meaning knowledge that's coming from source. Not necessarily knowledge that is, a mechanical, earthly kind of knowledge, but a knowledge that is supposed to be of a higher level. It also, ninth house it's also long distance travel. So in this day and age, traveling 200 miles is not as big of a deal, but it can be. So that's a little iffy as to how do you determine what exactly is long distance travel. Obviously, traveling across the globe would be long distance travel, but sometimes also within a country, it's also like that too. Your 10th house is your public presentation of the world. If you're doing it publicly, it is going to be affected by that 10th house. So let's say that you have Aries in the 10th house. So Aries has the natural qualities of being a go-getter, a starter, courageous, brave, aggressive. So you're going to have some of those qualities if you've got Aries in the 10th house. Just as an example. The 11th house is ruled by Aquarius, which is Saturn. And the content that goes with that, there's of course many things, but some of it is your highest aspirations, your highest dream. So something that you want to have acquired by the time that you're 75, that's where that would go. It also is associated with friends, large groups of people, scientific thinking, because it's connected to Aquarius and so forth. And so that's a goal there you're shooting for. What are the goals that you're really shooting for long term? And so that's the 11th house. And the 12th house is the Pisces house, originally ruled by Jupiter. And this is ruling sleep. It is ruling dreams, literal dreams, not like I'm having a goal, that kind of thing, but dreams. While you're dreaming, if you have, for example, my daughter has, I think she either has Mars in the 12th house or she has Mars aspecting the 12th house. And she has always, from day one, been somebody who wakes up at 10 o'clock at night. So most of the rest of the world is going to sleep and ready to crash by 10 p.m. And all of a sudden she wakes up every single night. She's just a night person. So if you have some active planets in your 12th house, you're probably going to have something like that. It also is connected to the astral world, meaning otherworldly places, other dimensions or domains or whatever you want to call it. But basically, it's not here. It also rules spirituality. It's not the only place that you can see spirituality, but that is something that's pretty heavy in the 12th house. So that gives you a real quick gist of what some of the houses mean. I'll go through really quickly to tell you how the first thing that I associated with it. The first is self and head, meaning the being. Okay. Second house is speaking, earned income, values. Third house is communication, hands, siblings, neighbors. Fourth house is moon, meaning mother, and home. 5th house is fun, romance, children, early education, and speculation. 6th house is work, enemies, habits, small pets. 7th house is others of any kind. It is specifically also the significant other. 8th house is all the taboo stuff. 9th house is higher education, broader knowledge, expansion, everything Jupiterian. 10th house is your public presentation. It oftentimes is associated with career, so career and public life. 11th house is big groups, highest dreams, and friends. And then the 12th house is the astral world, dreaming and sleeping. And hopefully that helps you.